Hi guys, it's Fred here, and in today's video I'm going to explain why stretching is not going to fix your knee pain and 3 really simple exercises you can do instead. So to start off with, why isn't stretching fixing your knee pain? Why isn't stretching the solution? Well, typically what happens in stretching, what a lot of people find, and what you might find as well, is you end up going around in this cycle of stretching. You stretch, you get short-term pain relief, so maybe that lasts for like 5-10 minutes. Then you go back to the activity or the sport that you were doing. So that might be something day to day, like as simple as walking. It could be running, it could be lifting in the gym, whatever that may be. And then you get the pain again, and then you start stretching again. And you go round and round in this circle. And so the stretch is just this short-term relief, and it's not actually going to provide the long-term solution. Now, why is that? Why is that the case? The reason we have to stretch in the first place is because our brain is making that muscle inherently tight. Now, why might our brain be making the muscle tight? Well, with, in particular, hamstrings, quads, calves, if our brain understands that those muscles are weak or they lack strength in particular positions or ranges, it will then inhibit how far those muscles can move, how far they can stretch, how far they can move through ranges of motion. So the most effective way to improve this is strength exercises. And the other thing with strength exercises, in particular isometric exercises, which is just holding a position for a long period of time, so you're not actually moving the knee, this sends a load of signals to our brain, which then gradually over time, the brain understands that it can load this tissue more effectively. So around the knee, your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, and it gradually then understands that, oh, this area isn't painful and I can load it. So there's 2 parts of the equation. Number 1 is actually, we need to strengthen all the tissues around the knee. But number 2 is that we also need to teach the brain that we can load that tissue, because you'll know if you've got an injury or you've had knee pain that it's very, very irritable and it gets aggravated very quickly. And so it's not as simple as just building up strength. We also need to teach the body and the brain to realize that this tissue is safe to load. So from a strength point of view, what do? Strength exercises 4 to 5 times a week. 3 really simple ones you can do straight away. The first one is going to be a split stance hold. So this is very simply, Jess is demonstrating this very nicely. Split stance position. I'll just zoom in a little bit. There you go. And you'll see she's got a vertical shit on the front leg, so like a nice 90-degree angle there, and then she's got a bit of a bend on the back leg. Now, what I would say with this, depending on how severe or irritable your knee pain is, you want to alter how deep the knee bend is. So you'll notice with Jess, she's fairly high up, so she's only got a little bit of a knee bend. If you can go a bit deeper with minimal to no pain, that's great. Go a bit deeper. What I would say, the golden rule is, imagine a pain score between 0 to 10. 10 is the max pain imaginable, like horrible, like you've been run over by a bus. 0 is no pain. With all these exercises, you want to stay within that 0 to 3 out of 10 pain score. So 3 is a little bit of pain. That's manageable. That's okay. That's normal. But don't let it go above a 3. So again, it's subjective, but just be mindful of that. So talking about this exercise again, if you're in the position that Jess is in and it's more than 3 out of 10 pain, very simply, just start higher up. So start with less of a knee bend. And then as you progress week by week, even month by month, depending on how long it takes, then you can decrease the height of your body, increase the knee bend, and get to 90 degrees. That's as deep as you want you to go. Once you've got to 90 degrees, body weight, pain-free, and you can hold it for the duration that we're going to talk about in a minute, then you can simply progress this by just adding some dumbbells in. So dumbbell in either hand to add some weight in. Now, in terms of sets and reps for this exercise, I would go for 3 to 4 sets, 45-second hold on each leg, rest 45 to 60 seconds between sets. So initially, just do this body weight, and then once you've got to 90 degrees body weight, then add some weights in. Start off really, really light again, because it's a very long hold. You'll be surprised. So start off with literally anywhere from 2 kilo to 5 kilo dumbbells, and then build up from there. And then the same thing applies, 45-second hold, because that's a long enough time to get the brain to actually fire and understand that we can load this tissue, and it'll get you a really good quad pump and build up some strength there. Okay, that's exercise number 1. Again, you can do that 4 to 5 times a week. Exercise number 2 you can do after this is a foam roller bridge. Just zoom out a little bit. So foam roller bridge, all you need is a foam roller set up in this position. Now, a lot of people get this exercise wrong when they've potentially done it or seen it being performed. Set up like this, we only want your hips to be a centimetre or 2 off the floor. So I don't want you to lift your hips really, really high, arch your lower back and use your glutes. We just want the hamstrings working here. And the hamstrings are the muscles on the back side of the leg between your glutes and the back of your knee, okay? So we want a gentle tuck of your hips just off the floor. Feet are going to stay flat on the foam roller, and I just want you to hold this position. You'll know you're doing this right if the hamstrings and calves, a little bit of calf, but mainly hamstrings are firing. If your glutes or lower back are working really hard, you're tensing too much, you lift your hips too high off the floor, okay? To progress this, we just go into a single leg variation. So same thing here. We should actually have more of kind of a foothold on this foam roller here. So just position your foot slightly further forward on that, make it a bit flatter, but same thing applies here. Gentle tuck of the pelvis, only an inch or 2 off the floor. Again, just holding this position. In terms of the amount of knee bend, more knee bend here. So if the foam roller is closer to you, this will be easier to hold. You can see in this second picture here, there's less knee bend, which will make it more stressful on the hamstring. So this will be harder. So what I would do is start off in a position like this, where you've got quite a lot of knee bend. And then once you can do this double leg bridge for 3 to 4 sets of 45 to 60 seconds comfortably, then move on to the single leg foam roller bridge. And again, play around with the amount of knee bend. This is quite advanced, this position. So I would do a single leg more in this position to start with, and then increase and take the foam roller away from you, okay? Rest 45 to 60 seconds between sets. And again, key point, hamstrings should be firing. They should be doing 99% of the work with a little bit of calf, no glutes or lower back involvement. That's exercise number 2. You can do this in this sequence. So again, just to summarize, split stance hold first, then foam roller bridge. Then the last one is the calf bridge. So calf bridge, same concept as the foam roller bridge with the hips. I don't want you arching your lower back and lifting your hips really high off the floor, no glutes, just a gentle tuck, literally an inch or 2 off the floor, centimetre or 2. And then all you're going to do is lift your heels just off the floor. And again, as low as you can without touching the floor. So literally half centimetre, a centimetre off the floor. Your calves will be working really, really hard. You want to set up in this position with, again, a deep knee bend. Once you can do this for 3 to 4 sets of 45 to 60 seconds on a double leg, then you can move on to a single leg, which is exactly the same position. Gentle tuck of that pelvis, 1 to 2 centimeters off the floor on a single leg. Again, you can see here, he's performing this exercise much better than the first model. You can see here he's a little bit too high. So with this heel here on this guy, he's much, much lower, and he's going to be getting the calf working a lot harder. Okay, so when you get onto the single leg, try to work up to 20 to 40 seconds on each leg. And again, rest 45 to 60 seconds between sets. So you can do that in a 3 exercise sequence. So split stance hold, foam roller bridge, calf bridge, 4 to 5 times a week. That will really, really help your knee pain, and it's going to be way more effective than stretching. Now, again, just to reiterate, the golden rule with all of these is keep that pain score within 0 to 3 out of 10 on all of these. So don't let it go above that 3. And if it goes above that 3 the day after you do the exercises, just decrease the amount of sets you're doing or decrease the frequency per week. So if you're starting up 5 times a week and you're getting a bit of discomfort on your rest days, knock it down to 4, maybe do like 3 sets instead of 4 sets, or even 2 if it's a little bit irritable, and then build it from there. Take it nice and slow. Again, with modifications for the foam roller bridge and the calf bridge, if you're getting more than 3 out of 10 pain with this, increase the amount of knee bend, so bring the foam roller close to you because it'll be easier. And the same thing with this calf bridge, bring your heels closer to you. And again, only progress from these double leg variations to single leg variations when you can actually do these 45 to 60 second holds comfortably for 3 to 4 sets with no issues. If you're interested in more specific advice about your injury, you can book a free injury assessment via the link in the description.